Let's review what happens by looking at a diagram.
The world's first Let's Play of Pong.
Like all magnets, it has a north pole and a south pole.
So we're just going to watch an educational film inside this informational film? Educationception?
An electromagnet.
Played by Jamie Foxx, Andy, and McKellen at the same time.
The wire is attached to wires leading to a dry cell.
Dry cell is just a myth.
When current starts to flow, the coil becomes an electromagnet with north and south poles.
I don't believe in north and south poles. I'm a flat magnet
The poles of the electromagnet are attracted by the poles of the permanent magnet, and the block of iron turns.
The block of iron turns.
The current in the coil, by changing the dry cell connections, the north and south poles in our electromagnet reverse. This puts two north poles together.
I'm seeing double. 4 Santas.
Since like poles repel each other, the electromagnet rotates until opposite poles are attracted to one another.
Yeah, when does Dr. Hubber throw the ping pong balls?
If we add the automatic switch to our diagram, it will look like this.
Hold on, I'm barely handling this and you're adding things?
To the dry cell, the motor will continue to rotate in one direction.
And we rotate all night to the best song ever.
It wasn't like the days when cowboys fought Indians. Between cattlemen and farmers, nobody had the what for to make the difference.
What?
Both had 6 shooters, and both could use them.
Yes, because both had guns, nobody had the what for to make that genocide difference this time.
Some tried a thorny hedge.
Not to be confused with the horny The Edge. Always chasing those U2 groupies.
Pig tight, horse high, and bull strong.
God, Bravo Farms isn't this folksy.
Others tried just plain old wire.
Plain wire or cinnamon raisin wire or maybe an everything wire.
And the search continued. The search for a fence that would combine the low cost of wire with the thorns of a hedge.
The haunting acoustic barbed wire theme. And here's a rack of ninja throwing stars. Okay, here's Elwood. Now where's Jake's contribution?
In 1874,
the Philadelphia Zoo opened. We could be looking at much more interesting animals than cows.
Granted a patent for a barbed fence wire that worked. The following year, Jacob Haish received...
So these illustrations are teaching us how to braid friendship bracelets?
Wire. Both methods were practical and inexpensive. The West got its fencing.
Yeah, just get to the part where Ben Franklin shakes Mark Twain's hand.
To the railroads. And there were some who resisted the changes on the plains brought about by barbed wire.
Mysterious mechanical monster loots bank. House of Jewels exhibit opens today.
Fence cutters. But the bark of 6 shooters diminished. Laws were passed to protect both sides.
Both white sides.
Barbed wire turned out to be a blessing to the cattlemen, too. They had built their industry on the native Texas longhorn, a tough, mean, ornery critter, as tough on the table as he was on the range.
Yes, but were there purple cows?
The cattlemen could separate their herds, introduce blooded stock, and supply the demand for better beef.
Just waiting for the invention of impossible meat.
The railroad, the Colt Revolt.
Trains and guns, the only things that worked at opening day Disneyland.
New ways of farming dry land.
Dry land is just a... Oh, wait, I already referenced that.
Enabled our country to settle the vast interior. To turn what was once the great American desert into rich, fertile farmland.
Ugh, sorry you had to see that, kids. I don't know what I was thinking.
Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with their own cars and trailers. That's what's new.
Pink.
People look different every time you make them.
Until we realize it's more marketable to sell the body, too.
Trailers come in $1 and $2 sizes.
Size labeled by price, and people say the Starbucks sizes are confusing.
A vanity case with toy cosmetics and beautiful accessories and real-looking doctor and nurse kits.
Can't wait for Michael Bay to make those movies.
Toys. It's fun to play with Hasbro.
Finally, somebody made playing fun. Miracles from Manicules. True Boardman, much better director than False Boardman. Ooh, Bill Melendez. It's a man-made miracle, Charlie Brown. Was John Sutherland trying to build his brand in a Walt Disney-esque way? Was his ultimate goal Sutherland Land? This was a bold direction for United Artists to take with Lord of the Rings.
As I sat there listening to the doctor's words,
I zoned out profusely because nothing is more boring than the history of rubber.
Fortunately for America, one rubber company had been working long before World War II.
The smoke's moving like a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
General-purpose man-made rubber.
This plant produced bouncing ball tests for young animation students.
Was producing general-purpose man-made rubber.
Luigi's Flying Tires didn't succeed because that was car-made rubber.
Important as it was just a molehill alongside the 650,000 long tons of rubber the nation used in 1941.
Well, no wonder Spielberg went so over budget.
97% came from the Far East.
Oh, how racist is this about to get? It is the Far East, and Japan is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon.
The enemy's goal was the rubber lands, and she got them in a few short weeks. The rubber ships stopped coming. Not only our war effort...
No, that's just Butte, Montana disguised as the capital by Boris Badenob.
Sam faced the most critical period of his life. From
Uncle Sam works the mixing board at a megachurch.
And industry answered. The men in rubber...
Men in rubber, alien a clubber.
And in chemicals, formed a combat team to fight the battle for man-made rubber. It was a battle we had to win.
Yeah, that line didn't age well over footage of people running into the Capitol.
And at home. It was only 20 months after Pearl Harbor that the largest plant for making man-made rubber went into full operation at Port Neches, Texas. With the rubber we needed...
The rubber industry has its own mecha Koopa?
High gear. And we struck back all over the globe.
Ah, yes, rubber was the weapon that ended the war. I am become rubber bouncer of worlds. They're cousins, they're chemical cousins all the way.
Polyvinyl flexible materials and man-made rubber are closely related in many ways.
Through marriage.
The first of these, polyvinyl materials, comes from very simple beginning.
Hey, this real film ripped its art style off from his daydream.
Limestone and coke.
Pepsi is unacceptable.
In the manufacturing process,
oh, it's a descendant of Little Caesar.
Water,
rapper.
plus electricity produce hydrogen and chlorine gases.
After work, this scientist is going to go get harassed by the Pink Panther.
Coke and limestone are combined.
That's how they made Ginger Lime Diet Coke.
These two gases are then combined in...
Remember, kids, always vacuum up your gases and then touch it up with a blowtorch.
And cool. And thus converted to liquid form.
To be drunk raw by contestants on Fear Factor.
Vinyl chloride.
The preferred audio format of hipster chloride.
A single drop contains literally billions of molecules.
Billions of molecules. Okay, I'm done referencing that. Looks like an orgy at Mr. DNA's house.
The catalyst, like
Tom Hooper's catalyst,
who never joins the rookie ranks, still gets plenty of action.
All right, you guys, fall in on the double.
Come on, soldiers, take me seriously,
the effect
please.
Of the catalyst makes these molecules grow and hook together in long, strong chains.
Which Fleetwood Mac refuses to break.
This is known as polymerization.
Nothing wrong with polymerization as long as you're open and honest with your partners about it. They fuse into Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch and return. In this case, the process of polymerization results in the material polyvinyl chloride.
Polyvinyl foamylate.
But of no practical use until a plasticizer is added. The plasticizer's softening influence makes these workable. Thus was created a new material known as Geon.
Geon, Warrior Princess.
Products are made. A material which...
You are getting very sleepy. Not from that hypnosis spiral, just from watching this film.
Products which contribute to the safety, comfort, and the beauty.
Wasn't enough to watch humans watch this cartoon. Now we're watching cartoons watch this cartoon.
New flexible materials enabled research scientists and engineers to develop further their chemical cousin and to put man-made rubber into a host of constructive services for mankind.
Sponsored by B.F. Goodrich, but without the decency to have Harry Von Zell annoying George Burns. Oh, sweet, you got an Atari?
Owls are rarely seen, although they are found throughout most of the United States.
Found but not seen. We just sort of feel them while moving our hands around blindfolded.
Only during severe winters do these owls go southward as far as the United States.
What does an owl consider severe?
Usually only as far as the northern states.
They're really only interested in seeing the Mall of America.
During summer, turkey vultures are found throughout most of the United States, but they move southward in winter.
Yeah, that one up there moved all the way south to Ohio. Meanwhile, in the same country,
the black vulture is found only in the southeastern United States and southward.
South by Southeast, directed by Nega Alfred Hitchcock.
The sparrowhawk nests throughout the United States and Canada, but many migrate to southern United States and as far south as Central America in winter.
Central America? What, like Nebraska?
And north to the Arctic Circle. The winter home extends from the United States to South America.
We could show you a map of South America to demonstrate, but we're not sure what it looks like.
Winters almost entirely within the boundaries of the United States, but in summer migrates northward to nest in Canada.
Just because the warmer it gets, the more they really crave Tim Hortons. Okay, I guess the filmmakers had to cut this short before they just started throwing baby birds off of a cliff. It's still more closure than DC gave their Birds of Prey franchise.
Barriers to understanding are removed as complex subjects unfold in simplified detail through the use of animation, which can diagram happenings that often cannot be seen in any other way.
Until Disney greenlights the live-action remake. In his free time, Larry designs mascots for local dentists.
Hi, Larry. My name is Chalky.
Look, we need to come up with actual jokes that haven't been done about this scene before, and yet these clowns got so lazy they ended their naming session after Chalky.
And run. And even jump.
Why can't you sit still?
Gosh. Ah, that's nothing. What's important, Larry? I'm here for a purpose. To do something about your manners.
What do you mean? My manners.
Manners like I'm a clown? Like I amuse you?
With the family baggage all together, on display, anyone can do a good job of packing.
The emotional baggage will seep up around the 15th hour stuck in the car with the family.
When the things you'll want first are the last to be packed, they'll be easier to find.
Matthew 2016. And now, Andy Rooney.
Plan their trips to avoid rush hour traffic at morning, noon, and evening in large cities on their route.
But they're from Hollywood, so the only time to avoid rush hour is 2:43 a.m.
A knowledge of direction often helps you get where you are going. Did you know that you can use your watch as a compass if the sun is shining?
I can barely use my watch to tell time.
Point the hour hand directly at the sun. Midway between the hour hand and 12 o'clock is approximately south. That's all there is to it.
Oh, that's all. Just some casual road geometry.
But there are haunted cars.
This first draft of Christine is terrible.
Haunted houses.
Boy, talk about our house in the middle of our street.
And the house falls to pieces.
So if a car is a house, what does that make a garage?
Must be built to withstand an earthquake every second or oftener.
Look, I miss the Fleischers on Superman, but I'm not this desperate for their work.
Twisting and turning. This line is the road.
That is not the road. You can't fool me, Wile E. Coyote.
And this is the body.
A dead body?
Now let's look at it from another viewpoint. Looking down on top of the car.
Made it, Ma.
The car is supported at four corners.
Where Rusty Griswold tries to have sex.
We must have a strong, rigid foundation.
That line was written by either Mussolini or E.L. James.
So let's take off the body and build a foundation.
Shouldn't you have built it before putting on the body?
Of steel, which we will call side members.
By the way, I'd like to thank my side members for supporting me on Patreon.
Side members apart and something to hold them together.
The duality of side members.
Two more steel pieces.
What is this, truck amuck?
We call cross members.
Cross members is what I say when I can't remember the word Christian.
Turn those front wheels.
It was bold to have the cue for Haunted Mansion actually lead to World of Motion.
Let's give them all the room they want.
The back wheels would like some room too, but we don't love them as much as the front wheels.
That's better. How about the rear end of the plane?
Hey, ogle on your own time.
One cross member.
Sir, please keep this professional, and you can fantasize about members in rear ends at home.
Support for the gas tank, but we need something stronger than that. Let's put in another one.
Yeah, okay, DJ Khaled.
The frame strong and rigid.
Again, fantasize about strong and rigid members off the clock.
Our foundation won't go together in the middle like this. Let's put in another cross member.
What do you mean, let's? I'm not involved in this.
Now we have a frame that you can't pull apart.
Without that beam, a guy could pull it apart with his bare hands.
Pretty good job.
I really am incredible.
Hey there, that won't do.
Well, don't snap at me. You drew it like this. You take the credit, you take the blame.
More steel girders, like the letter Y.
As in, why do we care?
Any force applied here will be transferred to the center of the frame.
God, even Bob Gurr's getting bored of
We
this.
don't want to be compelled to make this center crosspiece too heavy.
Who's this we? You're the one doing this.
Spread the strain. Let's put in these members, like the letter K.
And you're going to need KY for the member and the rear end.
We're going to support the front of the engine here.
With a $3 pledge so we can hear the At Home with the Front of the Engine podcast.
To support the rear of the engine. Now we've designed a skeleton frame.
No ghost, but there's a skeleton.
We'll have to do some figuring. And the first thing we want to know is...
what am I supposed to do with this information?
The most severe strain. Or, as engineers would say, where is the point of maximum stress?
The point of maximum stress is my house, which is haunted.
Supported at each end.
From houses to cars to random steel beams.
Center of this piece of steel.
Be sure to tie it with a knot that disappears for a single frame.
Up and down, and it doesn't break.
This whole short is the stuff Adam McKay tells us in a Celebrity Cutaway.
But suppose we fasten a steel box over half the length of the beam and again apply the weight.
And putting a box on a bench will rid my car of ghosts? This is what happened to Hamsar.
While this end was held rigid by the steel box above it, this point was doing most of the bending. Right here at the edge of the box.
So put another leg there. We've got ghosts to worry about.
As an engineer would say, the stress was localized.
I guess it takes more than cutout animation and heavy weight to make a Monty Python sketch.
The point of greatest strain is here at the front edge of the steel box or body of the car.
All this to program a putt-putt game.
That point is here. The usual way of building this part of the frame...
They keep to the no-ghost promise by ensuring this animator does not suffer a fatal heart attack.
In this frame, we're going to use 2 steel girders...
and set the whole project severely over budget.
...with a heavy steel plate known as a gusset.
A gussie?
This construction gives us rigid strength...
God, Daniel Steele's prose isn't this horny.
Another point of great stress is... here.
Did they have to watch this whole tutorial before making each one of the 50 million cars in Achievement USA?
Give us extra strength.
After watching this, I need extra strength Tylenol.
On the frame we have designed, we'll find that there is another point of heavy strain. Here in the hump.
Don't say hump, you dirty old man.
Member up to get over the rear axle. So we'll give it a reinforcement too.
Yeah, just reinforce every strained part. This could have been summarized.
Between the front and rear springs. Knee action.
We are the knights who say knee action.
Let's make the front end of the car as rigid as possible.
I wanted a spooky short, not a kinky short.
Use this sturdy girder of steel.
Sturdy girder. Wasn't that what they called Margaret Thatcher?
It's time to add these brackets, called step hangers, which support the running boards. And now look out for the rivets.
Oh, nothing in this short is riveting. Watch out, Rosie's just pelting them randomly.
219 tough steel rivets to hold our frame together.
And no cutting corners. If you only use 218, the left blinker will explode.
They're in place. Now we have a strong, rigid foundation.
You can hear him leering when he says that.
YK frame.
Should be Y2K for how anticlimactic this feels.
Under the hardest usage for tens of thousands of miles. Strong, heavy side members for support. Sturdy cross members for rigidity.
A male narrator talking about rigid members is the most queer rep we got back then.
Heavy reinforcements at points of greatest strain.
And this is how we build the ectomobile, and that's why there's no ghosts.
And a strong crosspiece to hold the knee action wheels. Such a frame gives rigid support to the whole car.
Unlike the framing device for this short, which is incredibly shaky.
Have a firm foundation. The body and every part of the car ride on a frame that is solid, strong, and safe.
Cars really are perfectly safe. There's no way someone injured in one would take several months to recover.
Therefore, the distance from the front to the back of the wing, measured along the lower surface, is less than the distance from the front to the back, measured along the upper surface.
Then some witchcraft happens, and then flight.
When the airplane is in motion, air rushes past the wing.
Well, technically, the wing rushes through the air.
Moves a longer distance in the same time as the air passing the lower surface, and therefore moves past the upper surface faster.
What a show-off.
This difference in air speed increases as the airplane itself moves faster.
What about the airspeed of an unladen swallow?
along the upper wing surface.
Surface has stopped sounding like a real word.
Pressure under the wing lifts it into this partial vacuum, which enables the airplane to fly.
Then the wings retract so the bulleteers can crash through headquarters.
We check our action and record the music to this tempo.
But Carl Stalling took one look and quit. And now Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Animation Cell Fairies. God, it's so boring when it's not being shown to Robert Benchley.
Well, at least we don't have to animate the wheels.
Ah, it's the Knott's Berry Farm Volcano Devil.
But what do these devils have against this car in particular anyways?
Chevrolet, our cars are so good they're feared by Satan.
And how are the bullets doing absolutely nothing? And how is the car moving when the imps are sleeping?
Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times.
Why does the guy on the gas look so evil? He looks like one of the devils shooting the car more than the imps.
I'm guessing because it's some sort of unfortunate stereotype.
It's the 40s. There's got to be at least one.
Did the imps get this car from Nicky Gnome?
Even behind a car, animation is under attack. Which side are you on?
2 people came up with this chariot driver idea and we barely see him.
Not to mention the horses. 200 imps did not survive the war with the devils.
How do we know the imps are the good guys in this battle?
It's anti-devil propaganda, I tell ya!
Justice for Satan! That's it? Ah! I don't like Mr. DNA's grandfather.
Hello, folks. I'm a carbon atom.
I expected a way more racist voice to come out of this face design.
And crude oil. I'm here to give you the inside dope on gasoline. I'm the smallest possible particle of carbon. Why I'm so small, 1,000 billion atoms like me could dance on the head of a pin.
Well, we don't have the budget for that large an ensemble.
I act as though I had 4 arms. And these fellows, who are the hydrogen members of this combination, have only 1 arm. We're going to form a molecule.
Long as your spouse is cool with it.
I grab hold of hydrogens like this. Then another carbon.
Hands Across America, the animated series.
Kind of chain. See? When we're together, the combination is a hydrocarbon molecule. One of the many, many different hydrocarbons.
Carbon boner.
For instance, we have formed a typical gasoline molecule.
Somebody shaved gossamer.
Now I want you to meet some of my relatives who form in the same way but have different patterns.
The Shmoo?
Another hydrocarbon, a gas molecule.
The Venus de Milo?
My size makes me a typical kerosene molecule.
Do you typically sound like Wally Cox? Enjoy my bulbous boner.
Molecules.
Gertie the dinosaur's grandkid getting another role that should have gone to an unknown. A balloon animal Grinch, okay.
Oil molecule.
And Grimace.
Carbons and hydrogens make me a residual materials molecule.
By their powers combined... Look out.
So you see, there are
Look out. Pink molecules on parade.
Sizes, different shapes. All found in crude oil.
Which we're dumping into the ocean here just for B-roll. This is how the Tower of Terror works?
Simplified, crude oil is separated into the different fractions needed for gasoline, kerosene, fuel oil, and other petroleum products.
Seems cruel to put that flame up to this ant farm.
Here we see the crude oil being heated.
Can you paint with all the colors of the oil?
At the bottom of the bubble tower, unvaporized large molecules of heavy lube oil and residual materials are drawn off.
I don't want to know what residual material forms when lube's involved.
At the second level,
Mario goes
oil
underground.
is condensed out of the vapor and withdrawn. At the third level, the largest of the lighter remaining molecules condense to form the fuel oil cut.
Every level looks identical. The animators weren't just lazy.
At the fourth level, kerosene is condensed and drawn off.
At the fifth level, the followers learn the truth about Xenu.
At the fifth level, the gasoline molecules become liquid, leaving the very light gas molecules to go out the top of the bubble tower.
And then we all take turns inhaling it.
In the average crude oil, only a limited amount of gasoline is present.
But fortunately, oil is an infinite resource.
So let's see what we might get from this simple distillation. A barrel of crude oil produces 20% residual fuel oil and asphalt.
Better residuals than you get from streaming.
7% lube oil and wax.
This is the Monkey Island grog recipe.
39% gas oil and fuel oil. 15% kerosene.
And 100% good flavor.
1% gas. And gasoline, only 18%.
And then the barrels can be thrown by Donkey Kong.
Not nearly enough for today's millions of cars. But scientists of the Standard Oil Company, Indiana, invented the cracking process.
42?
More than twice as much gasoline from each barrel of crude.
Oh, good. This guy again.
Gas oil molecule to be cracked. You are already familiar with the way it's constructed.
You know how well hung it is.
To crack it, heat is applied under precisely controlled conditions. More heat than is needed for distillation.
Oh, God, stop waggling it around like that.
And now, folks, you are watching science change a molecule into more useful ones.
Sure looks scientific to me. Whoa, from boner to buxom.
On the left are two gasoline molecules.
And they all retain the memory of the guy who just exploded. It's a torturous existence.
One gas oil molecule. Thus, science creates gasoline where none existed before. High anti-knock gasoline. One is called polymerization.
Another short about polymerization. Well, this one better teach me what makes a ball bounce.
Too small for gasoline, such as these gas molecules.
Two ghosts of Chungus.
Unites them by the polymerization process to form a larger molecule.
I should not get high before watching Steven Universe.
Of exceptionally high anti-knock value. Thus, science again fashions for us more and better products.
I'll take your word for it that they're better.
Here's what happens inside a fluid catalytic cracker.
Oh man, I saw the catalytic crackers open for Brian Setzer.
Gas oil is heated. It is joined by the hot, finely powdered catalyst shown here as little white grains. The hot oil and the still hotter catalyst then move together through pipes up into a chamber called the reactor. And
why do so many of these drawings have extremely phallic protuberances?
Molecules are cracked by catalytic action to produce gasoline molecules shown in red. These move out at the top. As the catalyst becomes covered with coke,
on second thought, I don't need any popcorn.
And is drawn off at the bottom. Air blows it through a pipe to the regenerator,
where we recast Doctor Who actors.
Coke is burned off. This reheats the catalyst, which again joins the flow of incoming oil.
I have fully lost track of this process. You're going to have to start over from the beginning.
Entire operation showing the complete cycle. Notice that the same catalyst is used over and over again. In this, the most modern method of gasoline manufacture. Because it contains just the right groups of hydrocarbon molecules.
And that's how you make LaCroix.
One, for instance, starting, but so active that in the summer he should be used only in moderation. One for rapid warm-up.
One taught me pain.
One for smooth acceleration. And one for full power and good mileage.
Molecule had a little lamb?
Molecules that work together. A harmonious team.
The Gasser Dans.
Seasonal variations and the climates of different regions must be taken into account.
These are the only states that will be left after our cars melt the ice
That's
caps.
why the Standard Oil Company, Indiana, adjusts volatility to suit
Oh yeah, I love those
and the
Midwest
region
beaches.
in which its gasolines will be used.
So let's look inside the engine by means of animation.
As opposed to
see
earlier.
What happens when the fuel burns?
First, a bunch of imps jump on the pistons to fight the devils.
These gasoline molecules have not been improved on or controlled by science. They are untamed and unruly.
This sausage party show is cheaper than I
Takes
thought.
place in about 1/500th of a second.
Oh, and there's Seth Rogen's writing room.
First, the spark ignites the compressed fuel charge. Now, watch for the knock.
Did you miss it? It was subtle.
Greatly slowed down action, you could see that with this gasoline, combustion was uneven and uncontrolled. And at the end, there was a jarring, violent explosion.
We had Michael Bay direct that one.
Pounded and shook the engine. Now we shall repeat the action.
Now you're just padding.
Watch again for the knock.
Even more fun the second time.
Now,
we're inflating 4 balloons at once.
Molecules that have been science fashioned so that they have the required anti-knock quality, molecules that stay under control and work as a team. Let's see what happens. Note in this case that the combustion is more uniform, and there is no knock.
Yeah, because you drew it this way. This proves nothing.
The difference, as you could see, is that with gasoline of the required anti-knock quality, there is no knock. Combustion is smooth and even and completely under control. Now we shall repeat the action.
Oh my God, we've seen it. Move on.
As it should, smoothly and without the interference caused by knocking.
Stop leering at me, Molecule.
There's the story, folks. And I'm proud to be a part of it, even if only as a tiny atom.
Were you narrating or was that other guy narrating? This film lacks a cohesive vision. They don't know any full songs.
There's the amount of the deposit, $62.53.
Yeah, when do Joker and his goons bust in?
The pages of the bank book show the record of Mr. Adams' savings account.
And make for a dull flip book.
8 years ago, one March, he made his first deposit of $50. As he made regular deposits from his balance grew. But his balance actually became greater than the sum of all his deposits.
Then he lost it all when he invested in Tesla.
At the end of each 6 months interest period, the bank added interest to his balance, which therefore kept on growing.
This is the first time an Encyclopedia Britannica film has attracted any interest.
This little nifty is a labor-saving device if there ever was one.
Elroy Jetson's escape pod?
An automatic hat tipper for the lazy Lothario.
Created by Al Lowe.
Fitted snugly inside of this deluxe derby, that is, in addition to the wearer's slightly addled head, is a conglomeration of wheels, cogs, gears...
Worn by elderly Groucho?
Counterweights... strings, and pulleys.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Which gallantly doffs the chapeau whenever a young heiress passes by.
Oh, that one was worth animating.
This machine of mine will be working on and on and on and on. Never stop.
It's a Mr. Wilson concussion generator.
Oh, thank God. On and on.
I'm getting some dynamite.
And on.